We are just one member of the blacklist away from reaching the top 10, as our next one is officially Lou Park, also known as Big Lou. His ride is a Mitsubishi Eclipse, and his strength is Tollbooth time trials. This slab of Korean muscle considers himself a real ladies' man. He is all show. Rumour has it, he panics around the cops and bails on racers the first chance he gets. Along with that, they say he has problems working the clutch, so he's slow off the line. I wouldn't count on it if I was you. Honestly, going from someone who knows what it takes to fall for deception, I can certainly say there are plenty of signs in Law and Order films and TV shows that will show you when there is movements and actions relating to deception. Anyway, on to the movie scene, I guess. I'm pretty sure that was a tiger vinyl I just saw there. No doubt in saying it obviously falls under animals.
Guess Izzy's racing days are over. Keep burning them up. I'll catch you later.
Raj, I am pretty sure you'll be catching me many other times. Anyway. There we go. And, yep, okay, nothing there. Now, we have a total of 5 race events we need to get through. And oh boy, one of them is a drag race. I think you probably know which one I'm going to get through first. However, before then, we need to head back to the safe house and save the game. Because that is what we will do first and foremost, and then after that we will get some tuning on our car to get ready for our next set of races. So, saving the game, and now I am switching over to the Mazda. Honestly, that body kit, it actually doesn't look too bad on this thing. I would say this body kit, from what I can see, it actually works out pretty well. And now, I will switch over to this thing. And to continue my notoriety streak, hopefully without getting busted too many times, we can now get on with putting some performance on this thing, as I miss a very obvious short shoot. I didn't think that was going to matter.
Patrol division, be advised. A vehicle moving at a high rate.
And right before the cops intervene, I go straight into the parts house. I think that's right. Anyway. So we have now got another engine upgrade. and I'm going to put that on. It might be expensive, but I think it is worth it. And we can also afford a stage 2 transmission. Yep, I will put that on. Suspension. Okay. Well, I suppose they can't all be winners. Nitrous. Nope. Tires. Nope, nothing on the tires yet. What about the brakes? Okay, we can buy some new brakes. And the turbo. Yeah, that's what I thought. Okay. Well, it's a lot of money to spend, but I think it is worth the price of admission. Because we still have other things that need to be done afterwards. I think I've spent enough on this thing now. Let's actually get on with the important stuff now. The racing. I just figure with me doing the customization, it gives the car personality. And I think just to get what will probably be the most annoying out of all these, let's do the drag race first. So then I get the shittiest one out of the way. I think that's just easier for me. It's the strategy I have come to adopt. Okay, so we've got an Evo, a Golf, and a Audi A3. No. I will not fall for another gigantic wreck again, if that's what you're asking. I am actually going to make sure I finish this goddamn race. Finally! Fucking 9 minutes later. It was honestly enough of an achievement for me to just finish that race. Because I'm pretty sure that took me at least 10 failed attempts before I actually finished it. But I can definitely understand now why so many of the veterans of this game hate the drag races in this game, especially as the speeds get higher and higher. But either way, we did beat race 1. And I am so glad I do not have to go through all that again. Except for saying I will have to go through all that again. But whatever. 37.2 to me, 38.3 to Snowman, and a 43.6 to Cambates. Okay, first one down. So glad I don't have to do that again. So that's our first one down. Now we have to get through the other 7. But just to avoid too much contact with the cops, I will go back to the safe house. Okay. So, now that we've got the shitty race out of the way over at Heritage and Rosewood, we can now get on with the fun racing, where we begin at Beacon and Station, which is a sprint race. I can certainly say that drag race really had to make me increase my awareness. That's definitely one thing I know for sure about the drag races in this game. You really have got to be on it when it comes to the lane switching and just what grooves you both have to and not take in terms of actually pulling it off. It was honestly enough of an achievement for me to finish that race, let alone win it. That was honestly the hardest part I had of this whole thing. Basically just making sure that I finished the race. That, I think, was probably the biggest challenge I had with the fucking drag race. It's not just a matter of winning, it's a matter of finishing. But anyway, it's cool. We got the hardest one out of the way, so now we can actually have fun with this. Get on with the real racing. Because that is what matters. But anyway, we got it done. 4 grand from winning at Beacon and Station, and a 6-second margin of victory over Lowrider, Inez, and Potter. I can certainly say that was a good car. And we get a message from Rog. By now, I'm thinking you're using the pursuit breakers to ditch the cops. Here's the deal. Here's the deal on getting the most out of pursuit breakers. Don't use them if you don't need to. You might get a few laughs by making the donut fall down, but save it for when the cops are on your tail, and you need some breathing room, or when you're trying to lose the last one before backup arrives, or when you're trying to lose the last one before backup arrives. Learn where the police are in the world, and plan your route so that you drive by as many of them as possible. When you get to the pursuit breaker, make sure you got a lot of cops close behind you. Makes no sense if they're way behind or in front of you. If you time it right, you can get them all with one pursuit breaker. Thank you, Raj, but I'm pretty sure they're not all gonna be behind me all at once. But either way, I still think that's a useful tip, so thanks anyway. So that's now 2 race events down, as we are now at the 20% mark. And next up we have a circuit race around Hillcrest Boundary. I am pretty sure, aside from the drag race we did first and foremost, all these other races, they do not require me to blow raspberries. But anyway, so we got a Dodge Viper, an Aston Martin, and a Subaru Pretzel in this field. And already I run into the back of a car. I'm probably not too surprised. And yep, I basically just send a car out of the circuit barriers. I think that's what those are. Or circuit arrows, I think is what they're called. So Robertson is second, followed by Molly, and then it is Roberts who runs in fourth. Ironic to say that we have 2 Roberts in this race. But either way, we are doing pretty good with our well-ridden RX-8. And already I'm building up a gap at the front of the field. Here's to hoping we can keep that going, I guess. What goes around comes around. Over and out. And that's definitely a family wagon I just ran into there. But either way, I am pulling away with a rather hefty margin. And it looks like that is going to continue as long as I don't crash too much. Okay. So a 2:22 on that first lap. Let's try and see if we can... Damn it. Let's see if we can aim to keep this fast-paced momentum going. So we still have at least another minute to go, because this is one of the longest circuit races I have driven so far, and it will hardly be the last. Especially since we are closing in on the top 10 of the blacklist. I also might have to consider skipping the tuning sequences by speeding them up. But either way, I can certainly say 4th gear in this thing is long. But at this time, I'd say we're doing okay. We are doing pretty okay right now. And I will make sure to keep this going. As I take the short shoot, and hopefully this will not fail me. Even though in some cases it did, but whatever. We still get 4 grand, and we won that race on our first try by 6.3 seconds over Molly. And everyone else was faster than me in terms of top speed. However, I still had the highest average speed of 118. And also because, well, I crashed a bit less.
Code 6 vehicle has just been reported eastbound.
Okay. And before the cops get involved, I am gonna return to the safe house. Because that is what I do. So 3 race events are now down, and we still have to get through the other 5, as our next one is a speed trap event at Seaside and Fisher. It is nice to know that we do get the colours unlocked early, and that we can actually figure out how to customize our car to the point where it's not going to be too much. So we got an IS300, an Elise, and an Audi Quattro. I think that's right. I will have to check to be sure over what car that is, but I do believe that's an Audi Quattro. At least I believe that's what that make and model is. Unless it's an A6. Okay, so Illusion, 10 cent.
Patrol members be advised. I just received a call from a radio station that's reporting a group of dangerous drivers. They were last seen northbound.
I do seem to be with the advantage at the moment over 10 cent, Illusion, and Kate. I do avoid hitting the toll booth because that would have been disastrous if I did hit it, something that I certainly don't need at this time. And right now, things appear to be okay at this point in time. And I appear to be steadily pulling away. And that's what I have done. My car was clearly the fastest, with a top overall speed of 655 miles per hour. 10 cent finished second with 597, Illusion third with 550, and Katie set a total speed just under 500. Not bad. Speed trap race pointers. Speed trap racing is a little different than other types of races. Getting across the finish line first doesn't determine the winner. The goal is to get the highest total speed recorded through a series of speed traps. You need to plan your routes to make sure you're at maximum speed when you drive past them. Some of the traps are going to be at the end of a corner. Slow down, and you don't hit walls and then hit the gas quickly. Your radar detector will warn you about any upcoming speed traps. When it goes off, it's usually a good time to use your nitrous for that extra boost of speed. I really have no idea what happened to my thought process there. It was honestly like it quite literally just hit the pause button. I just decided, for whatever reason, that the reels were just not wanting to display themselves. I know that sounds a bit niche and old-fashioned, but that's kind of how it felt. But either way, that's another one done. Even though I will have to edit out the bit where my head froze, because it quite literally did. But anyway. So we are halfway there with the race events for Blacklist 11. And now we have got to do Chase and Waterfront for event number 5 on Blacklist 11 of the race events section. Okay, here we go. I actually quite like how the blue zone on the rev counter is actually a lot higher up with this car than it is with other cars. Although, I guess that is natural because, well, rotary engines typically do tend to be high revving anyway, with about as many as 9,000 RPM, sometimes more than 10,000 RPM. I should have used that shortcut. Fuck you. Anyway. Two toll booths are down. In spite of me hitting a pickup truck. Right before hitting the toll booth. But either way, we are still going. And that is what we have to do. Okay, so we're still doing good for now. And that is now 3 of our 5 toll booths now taken, as I run into a pair of water barrels. And that's a ball. So we are doing pretty well at the moment. And we just have 2 more toll booths left to run. Okay, now we just have 1 to go. It's basically just a run to the finish now, as I hit 176 entering that right-hander, and now my new top speed is 184. Correction, I will now make that 189. I have no idea how I avoided going just head first into that wall. I think if I was any closer, I definitely would have clouted that wall. It definitely would have been the sort of hit that would have been hard enough, if happened in real life, to probably give me a concussion at the very least. Possibly more than that. Had I survived, a concussion would probably be the worst of it, had it happened in real life. Anyways, I win. And I did so with 20 seconds to spare. So to put it simply, that was very easy. And now we have met our minimum events required in order to challenge Big Lou. However, we still have to get through these other 3. So we've got another toll booth event, Route 55 and North Bay. Then we've got Bristol and Bayshore. And then we have Rosewood and Highway 99 for our second speed trap event. So yeah, toll booth races in this game, I would say the closest they come to resemblance-wise, aside from having to be on the clock, would probably have to be the point-to-point races from Hot Pursuit 2. And so far, so good, is what me thinks. Even though I will have to get something figured out for my thumbnail shots. I'll no doubt get something figured out. It'll just take a bit longer for me to think about how to do that. But anyway. We're not doing too badly at the moment. Even though I can definitely say these toll booths are certainly widespread, the way they appear to be positioned. There's a lot more distance between these toll booths compared to what there was before. Even though it doesn't really give me any problems, because, well, there is still plenty of time for me to make up each of these. Plus my mistakes, because there has not been too much traffic up to this point of the events. We're actually doing pretty well, if I do say so myself. And I run wide at the gas station. But it's fine because we still have the secondary shortcut. And we also have a third. Well, not really a shortcut anymore because, well, I clouted the wall. But whatever. It's fine. Everything is good. Because we are still very much blasting our way through each of these events. As I completed this one with 23 seconds to spare. So to put it simply, the toll booth events in this game, or time attack events if you will, because that's basically what they are. Well, time attack point-to-points. They are pretty easy to get through when you're not making so many mistakes. But anyway, we have 2 to go. So we've got a sprint race, and we've got a speed trap race. Let's get through the sprint next. Bristol and Bayshore. So we got I think that's a Holden, is that right? Or is that a Vauxhall? So we've got a Dodge Viper, an Audi TT, and Is that a GTO or a Monaro? I think that's a GTO. Yeah, I'm convinced in saying that's definitely a GTO. Of course, the Holden Monaro and the Pontiac GTO, they both look very similar to one another. And the same can also be said, well, for the Vauxhall Monaro as well, which basically is a Holden. But I'm pretty sure that's a Pontiac GTO I see there. If I was to hazard a guess, I would say it's probably a Pontiac GTO. Especially since it, the Holden Monaro and the Vauxhall Monaro, they're all pretty much the same car, more or less, from what I know. I think that's the right way to describe it. Anyway, repassing the Viper and trying to make sure this time around I do not absolutely drill myself in the wall. As I squeeze through that toll booth and trying to make a move on the GTO. I have now done so. It does kind of suck to say that with the stats, it doesn't exactly reveal which opponent is driving which car like it does in Underground 2. I think that is one thing that, well, kind of sucks, knowing that you do not get to know word-wise what cars were actually in the race, unless you absolutely know what model of cars they are from just looking at them. But whatever. Second time around, a much cleaner run and also a much more sensible run. By less than 7/10 of a second over Tinker. Man finished third, and it was Hermpton who finished him fourth. So, all in all, pretty close race altogether. I'm going to assume Tinker was probably the one in the Pontiac, because he was the one that stayed behind me for most of that race.
Officer took me advised. We have an unknown number of Code 6 racers that were just reported last seen heading west on Bayshore Boulevard.
And right before the cops intervene again, I am gonna head back to the lab to get through the last street race of Blacklist 11, and it is another speed trap event. I would not be surprised if cops get involved right at the end. I'll admit, I did take quite a gamble trying to get this car, but yep, I went too early with the throttle. Anyway, so we've got an Eclipse, a Porsche Cayman, and a Lexus IS300. As we are heading around Highway 99 in Rosewood. And that's a wall. And I could only hit a top speed of 94. Whereas the highest overall speed in Sector 1 was 106. However, there is still time for me to recover, because 12 miles an hour, that doesn't really make a difference, as long as you know what it is you're supposed to be doing. And right now, I think I do know what it is I am supposed to be doing, especially since we are now away from the difficult corners, and we are on our way to making sure we get round the faster corners with a bit more oomph. And hopefully not sliding around too much as we do it. Yeah, that's a bit more like the sort of speeds I need to be setting. I'll agree in saying those speeds work for now. And that's pretty much what my plan is. I should have taken that shortcut. Well, at least I'm still in the lead. Or I was before that happened. But it's fine. We still have more time to make up, and... damn it. But it's okay because I think I will still score the overall win. I may have finished second on merit, but I did manage to steal the overall win by 24 miles per hour over Katie. Stuart finished in third, and it was Dark X who finished P4. And all of us managed to pass the 800 mark in that event as well. So pretty competitive speed trap race if I do say so myself. Those are the speed traps I set. Those are all the others. Yeah, I'm okay with that. And now, back to the lab again, where I can save the game, and right before the police intervene again. As that took me just under an hour to get through all 8 of those. So we've won all 8 race events, and now we have to get through the milestone events. As once again our minimal target is 3. So 22% complete, and we are now back up to 63,000 in our bank. So, next time on Need for Speed Most Wanted, taking down Big Lou.